What's up guys, Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm actually back in the States visiting family and friends. Haven't seen my parents in almost a full year, and my dad had a blood clot from the back of his knee all the way up his right leg to his groin. He's all good, so grateful for that, but just making time to see family and friends, and I will be back in Puerto Rico on Tuesday. So coming back shortly, working on the laptop, and hopefully the audio quality is okay. So let's kick it off. First things first, looking at the Bitcoin price chart, we can see that we did in fact create that low back in June. I'm going to say about $18,000, but it's really $17,600. Now since then, we have in fact pumped from that level all the way up until August over $25,000, just a tad over it, so a good 40% move. Now altcoins had the mega crash, we had that June low, and across the board for altcoins, I'm using this March-April high as the swing high to the swing low and measuring retracements for a variety of altcoins. Now Bitcoin, of course, the leader of the market, is still relatively low, but we've had Uniswap, we've had Ethereum Classic, QNT all reach a 702, if not higher, meaning they've all pumped well over 200% up until this range. Whereas there's other altcoins that are still sitting at these lower levels. So it looks like it's very choppy right now, and actually I do want to plot a quick fib just to compare this, and then I want to dive into the other charts. So all we're going to do is wick to wick, March high all the way to that June low, and drag all the way over. And thus far, the Bitcoin price chart has in fact reached the 236 Fibonacci retracement at about $25,000. Now we're coming back down. Now QNT, the same thing, from the March-April high to the low. This is on the daily price chart. We have made it all the way up to the 786 with candle bodies on that level. Ethereum Classic, the same exact thing as you can see, making it all the way up to the 786. Uniswap, a DEX, we can see we've made it right up to the 702 to perfection with the wick. So I just showed you several assets that made it up to this zone between the 618 all the way to the 786. Now we're seeing assets even like Ethereum making it up to the 382 Fibonacci retracement. Now remember, we were calling for API 3 a while back to hit $3. Notice right up to the 382. As high as $3.19. Now it came back down, it's hovering around that 236. Looking at DAG or Constellation, the same exact thing, from the March-April high wick to the low up to the 382, right in this zone. And as you can see, we also backtested these previous levels, this wick along with this. And notice that DAG thus far from the high to the low has come down and crashed and backtested back to the 236, wick to perfection right there. Okay, Kevin, why are you showing me this? Well, thus far, I've shown you examples of assets between this range, up to the 382, like DAG, a variety of others, and Ethereum. Some assets have pushed all the way to the 236. Let me show you that really quick. I mean, Energy Web Token, another one, all the way up to the 50. Meanwhile, we had this huge consolidation structure. I'm still looking at other altcoins that could be mirroring this to some degree. They were stuck in this range, the buy volume came, as you can see, these giant green candles, and we blasted all the way up and worked through these retracements. Notice that the RSI also blasted and pierced. Filecoin, another example, but it's not like it rocketed, it still did a 100% pump up to the 236. Notice that we have the same exact structure as Energy Web. Notice from this low, that's a 120% pump. QNT did over a 220% pump. So I'm focused on assets and alts that are still lagging. They're boring, I know, but they're only up, let's just say like 30-40%. And they have tremendous upside to retrace up to these levels. Rose or Oasis is another one, from that March-April high to the low, same consolidation pattern, and boom, up to the 236. So we're talking about Telcoin down here. You can watch my older videos right here. Is about to break out. Now, nothing crazy yet, but we have broken out of that structure. I mean, we've done, let's just say, a good 30% move since talking about it. We can see the RSI did in fact pierce, but it came back down. So what's important to note is we can see that it in fact backtested this zone, but we still have to work through a lot of retracements if we were to follow suit with what Rose, Filecoin, Energy Web, DAG, and a variety of others. So over the past few weeks, we went over a bunch of assets that from this low still pump 150% or even 220% up to these levels. Now TEL thus far, sitting from that June low to current price, we're only sitting about 33% up. So I'd still be looking for a good pump in the weeks ahead. And I know everybody's bearish. I want to explain a few things as well. We can still have ranges and retracements in a bear market, guys. Altcoins have crashed 90%. Some are down 95%. As you can see, dragging all the way over, you can see previous levels of resistance that have yet to be tagged. That would be over 100% from the low. Taking TEL up to that level around 0.0026. So I'm still watching assets like Remark. We came up to challenge it, but we did not break through. We're coming back down right now, still in this range. I think Gallo long term could do very nice moves. And as you can see, I mean, Gallo was pushing over 7 cents for a bit, but we are still in this range. We have Glimmer or Moonbeam, same exact structure, sideways. It will go when it goes. If you cannot afford to wait months or years in this market, you're not going to make it. And also, big thank you to the gentleman that was sharing information on Glimmer talking about the token releases and how it could affect the price. Remember that relatively new assets have a much longer distribution phase than others that have maybe been around 2, 3, or 4 years. So there's others that have been around. Those major dumps are over in my opinion. But for Glimmer, you still have a token release. And remember that almost every major exchange launched Glimmer at the same time. What does that tell us? That means that they were most likely early investors in Glimmer. This was in January. It launched on every single exchange, Binance, Kraken, you name it. It rocketed, and now we're in this massive sell-off. So we have to wait for this giant sell-off, this giant distribution phase, begin an accumulation, and wait for expansion. With that being said, I do believe that Glimmer could be a huge project in the future. Most noobs in this market are going to look at it, look at the current price, never understand what EVM compatibility means with Ethereum and a variety of other chains. Also, Alliance Block is another one I am watching because it does have that same structure. We have crashed recently with that Bitcoin pullback at about 5.4 cents. But this, in my opinion, has a very similar structure. And if we do get that pop, remember, assets, guys, have come up here. Others, conservatively, have still come up to this zone. So I just wanted to point out that I'm just looking at this next level, support and resistance. We have Algo, the same exact thing. I believe that Algo and XRP will push up following ETH and Bitcoin. It's just a matter of time. Could it take months? Yes, and I want to share a few theories in this video as well. But I've just been DCAing. I shared 30 cents, 32 cents, still in profit. And from this low, I mean, we're still only up 25%, whereas other assets like QNT and a variety of others, even with different market caps, even up to the 618, that's around a 150% move. And nothing I share here is financial advice, guys. This is just my opinion, but I do believe that Algo gets that push in the coming weeks and months. We get up to 50 cents with ease. Coming back to previous levels, we have that triple bottom up close to 70 cents, but we have to get through this zone first. Notice, previous levels, I mean years and years, that is a key level, March 2020, even all the way back here to 2019. This is a multi-year key level that I'm watching. Keep in mind that Algo, from its all-time high, even using this high, not that wick above $5, it crashed 89%, roughly 90%. And nobody believes that any type of even small retracement like this can occur, which is laughable to me because this will happen. It's just a matter of time. It's funny to me because if I listen to the people in March 2020 and May 2020 around the Bitcoin halving that told me to give up, crypto's a scam, I would have never made it to where I'm at today. We have XRP, the same exact thing. Now notice XRP is actually holding up stronger than Algo. Algo's at 34 cents, XRP is at 37. Now sometimes these alts will do a little dance. I just want to emphasize using the March-April high. I just showed you several assets. I know in the previous videos we went over like 24 alts. And I showed you up to the 702. The 382 is around 50 cents. And we have additional confluences of Fibonacci pivots, moving averages, support and resistance levels, Fibonacci retracements, you name it. I can't wait to be back on my PC so I can see everything. But yes, overall, I think XRP is looking fine. I still believe we can push up to these levels in the weeks and months ahead. As you can see, XRP, you got to break through that 41 cent mark, break through the 236 at 43 cents, make it up to the next zone. There's not too much resistance, and we'll get up back to the 382 around 52 cents. Next up, looking at the Bitcoin CME futures gaps, we still have gaps that we've been talking about for months, up at the 28K zone, as high as 34,800, or maybe 35K. I do believe that these gaps get closed. The question is when? How soon? Yes, I want it to happen now. Could it be very grueling? Could we be very choppy? Anything's possible. But notice that we did in fact finally push up to that 25K level that we were discussing. Right up there to that wick is a retest. We have HBAR doing the same thing. We have DeFi being built. Yes, we got that little breakout coming back down, consolidating. I'm still waiting for the actual eruption for HBAR. Now, please recall this. This is the Phantom price chart. You may remember this as being one of the best performers in crypto history. And as you can see, Phantom, I mean, we pumped almost a 2000x, well over a 1000x return from the low set in March 2020 up until the high that was set back in 2021 and 2022. Over a 1000x return. $1,000 turns into 1 mil. Now, quick Fibonacci retracement just to show you we have this high. Now, from this low, what happened? We crashed, created a new all-time low price, and then boom. So from that high to the low, I don't have my fib settings here. Well, technically, if you add the 89 fib, which is part of the Fibonacci ratio, let's just add it really quick, 89. And you can see we made up to that level perfectly. Now the Fibonacci ratio, these are not made up numbers. They add to one another. So the Fibonacci is 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, on and on to 21, to 34, to 55, to 89. You just keep adding them together, and the sum of that number is the next one in the ratio. Now, this is how tree branches grow. They grow in this 1, 2, 3, 5 ratio, music. And this is crazy, and remember, charts is nothing but human psychology mapped, so we can actually see this playing out again. Now, this is something that a gentleman from Casper has talked about for Phantom. Remember, Phantom didn't really do much. It was kind of just stuck in this trend for several years of boringness. And what were they doing? They were building decentralized finance here. They were building DeFi solutions. No price eruption. Oh, they finally started really building out DEXs, bridges to other chains. They started having automated market makers. And again, TVL grows on this network. And what happened during this phase and once DeFi started going live? Phantom erupted. Right there is a 50x. And from here, that's a 200x return. Now, this is something I'm looking at for Casper and a variety of others. HBAR, Algo, any layer 1, XDC, whatever you're a fan of. I'm focused on the alts that are sitting at very low prices. XDC, phenomenal. There is so much money in trade finance. I know that. And in recent years, it still did over a 400x return. And the guys that bought the top of XDC, and they don't know it, they call it a bad project. No, it's not a bad project. You just didn't get the best entry. And we don't know the best entry, then that's why I'm trying to focus on alts that are only sitting a little up, a couple 100% up from the low, not 1000x up. I don't want to buy something, or at least put all my life savings into something that's up 1000x. Now, QNT, that's a different story. I was in that early, so I'm able to hold that, and I'm comfortable with that because I have my initial investment out. Now, this is also another thought, so I wanted to share this. I shared this yesterday on Twitter. So the deadlines for anybody that filed a tax extension. So if you did not pay your taxes for 2021 in April and you filed an extension, that will be due in October. I thought it was the 15th, but I guess the deadline is the 17th, as you can see in this picture. So everybody that owes 10,000, hundreds of thousands, or a few $1,000,000 in the crypto market, and they don't have cash on the sidelines, some of them will actually have to sell their crypto, potentially at a loss. So imagine how frustrating it would be to sell some of your crypto at a loss, in this case maybe a huge loss, to pay taxes, and then right after that the market rallies. So I know we all have our own thoughts and opinions, but this would be crazy if this did in fact occur. Now currently I see the majority of people thinking two different things. Either the stock market is going to have a major crash. We see Michael Burry, we see all these different indicators and points of FUD that the market is going to crash. We are officially in a recession. What's going to happen next? And then there's the other category that think we still have a big ride up. Maybe it's the biggest bull trap in history. And this bull trap could be the biggest bull trap in history for the crypto market, for the stock market, for the global market. And last but not least, iTrustCapital, linked in the video description. If you do sign up and fund your account, you also get $100 in Bitcoin. Notice, staking for Polkadot has arrived, so you can visit your dashboard, and the staking period will begin on September 1st. So just about 2 weeks away. The first crypto IRA 401k platform to offer DeFi solutions, and there will be other assets in the future. Now, speaking of Polkadot, just think Glimmer when you see Polkadot. Remember, Glimmer has a $100 million DeFi fund. And Binance US also added Polkadot staking, 15% APY, not bad at all. And also a quick reminder, on Algorand.com, you can go to their ecosystem right here. As you can see, 500 global organizations leveraging Algo's technology. Algo is a freaking behemoth. Do not be fooled by current price. It has a capped max supply of 10 billion tokens. That will never go higher. That is finite. There's no inflation rate for staking rewards like other assets. This is it. You can see the technical, the financial infrastructure, a variety of partners, wallets, stablecoins, custodians. And then you can look at the key stakeholders, including Arrington, XRP Capital. Algo and XRP are tight. Now, speaking of Algo, we'll finish up with this. Access to DeFi, decentralized finance on Algorand, is now available on Fireblocks. So users can now securely and efficiently access all dApps built on Algo through Wallet Connect. Fireblocks is gigantic. Fireblocks.com, as you can see, this number just keeps getting bigger. Find out why 1,300 of the largest institutional players are powered by Fireblocks. Who uses Fireblocks? iTrustCapital, linked in the video description. Meanwhile, everybody buys the narrative at current prices that crypto is not the future. While Google, one of the largest companies, invested over $1.5 billion. 1 billion is 1,000 million, guys, into blockchain companies between September of last year up until June of this year. But alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like and sub. You can find all links right here in my link tree on Twitter and in the video description, and I will catch you in the next one.